the importance of being with children all the time. This is not a question. It is something I would like to mention because I had a session today that was a little bit difficult, and I just want to mention what went on. Now, I have not had children in this life. I do not know how to raise children, so I am not telling people who have children that they are doing it wrong and that they should be doing it differently. I simply want to mention one more story because from today's session I understood. I always knew it logically, but I really understood the importance of spending time with children, as much time as possible. This particular client, 62, very young looking 62-year-old, one of his children, his son, was in his 30s, and he was telling me the story how he is psychotic many times and is creating difficulties, and this guy did not know how to handle it. So I said, okay, after you lay down, we will call your son's soul and ask your son's soul, what can I do for you? Even though you are no longer in my life book, is there anything I can do for you? So during the session, we called his son's soul and we asked this question: is there anything I can do for you? And the client says he's crying. The soul is actually crying. And I said, okay, ask again. What can I do for you at this stage we are at now, at the moment? And the soul replies, just be with me. At that moment, I saw an image of his son being 4 years old. And I said, what was going on in your life when your son was 4 years old? And the answer was, I just wasn't there. I was always working. And he was kind of left alone. So I said, ask your son's soul, did all this start around that age? And the answer was, yes, because at that age I could no longer take it, that I was alone. And now that individual has got problems and will have problems for the rest of his life, and is also causing problems for the rest of the family. Again, this video is not to judge people that cannot spend time with their children. I simply want to mention how important it is to spend time with your children. As much time as possible. Forget everything else. It will help us to understand that before we come into this world, we live in a place where we have 24/7 attention. We are always getting attention, and other souls are always interested in us, in what we are doing, or in what we have done, in what we have learned, in where we plan on going next. And then suddenly this soul comes to earth and we neglect it. And this is why it loses it. This is why children are screaming all over the place. They are simply looking for the attention they remember. Because there is a veil, they cannot remember sometimes exactly where they were or why they were getting attention there and they are not getting it here. So make time to spend time with children, or if there is no way you can make time, or if you prefer to focus on your career or to focus on making money, there is nothing wrong with these things, then think about maybe not having children, because they need way too much attention. And if they don't get this attention, both they and you will be having problems later on in life. And ask yourself if it's worth it. You see, we keep saying these cheap Hollywood phrases, "Oh, I love my children," "Oh, I would do anything for my children," but we do not spend time with our children. Again, someone that does not have children should not have any right telling someone else how to raise their children. So I'm not trying to do this. I simply wanted to mention one more thing. And that's it. I will leave it at this.